That's right, a video game review of PS5 exclusive game, which, am I wasting my time? I feel like for a lot of people watching this, this is like, yeah, this is what you have to look forward to because you know how many people out there, all the people who have a PS5. So this video is for all of you out there who either have a PS5, are hoping to get a PS5, or you just like hearing me prattle on about video games. And if that's you, in any case, let's talk about some really fun video game. So Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is not Resident Evil 8. Sorry, I know for people who want me to talk about Resident Evil 8, you just want me to talk about one thing. Giant vampire MILF. In there for about 20% max of the entire game. 20 glorious percents. So the Ratchet & Clank franchise has been around since the PS2 era. It's funny enough, it's one of those games that I haven't played. Not that I've been against it. It's just is one of those game franchises that just, it passed me by. I was playing other stuff. So this is my introduction to Ratchet & Clank, relevant to address because I can tell you that you don't have to have played the other games to enjoy this one. You're going to get more out of it for sure. You're going to get more of the references. You're going to be like, oh, the love letter to those characters, which is perfect. It's good for longtime Ratchet & Clank fans and new Ratchet & Clank fans. I say that because after you play this, you will be a Ratchet & Clank fan. So if you know the next best Ratchet & Clank game, please comment below. Let me know, as they say, because I want to play another one after this. So I feel like I've rambled for long enough. So in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, it has to do with Dr. Nefarious finds this other world, this alternate dimension where he has won. And this alternate world, this alternate dimension takes Ratchet & Clank to a new adventure. A new adventure where there's Dr. Nefarious and Emperor Nefarious. And there's Ratchet & Clank and Rivet and KT-7461. Every one has an opposite. And instead of dividing the gameplay between Ratchet & Clank and Rivet and KT-7461, who has another name, but it's kind of, you know, you got to get there in the game. Rivet pairs up with Clank at a point, you know, they kind of swap back and forth, which is actually really smart to do. When you're introducing new characters, you don't want to just play as the other characters like, oh, they're new characters and new sidekick and I feel kind of alone. No, when you're playing as Rivet, you have Clank with Rivet for a bit, so there's that familiarity. But that was really smart to do. It's a good way to bring new characters into the fold. What I like about this game is each world looks and feels very distinct. They're glorious worlds, they look fantastic, and on a few of them, there's a logistic involved there that's just very unique to that world. One in particular, you have to hit these crystals to go into the other dimension, solve puzzles by hitting the crystal and going back. You know, I loved that. Also showcases the load times. That's why it's a PS5 game. Instead of hiding the load screen with this big animations like lightning and whatnot, you know, and the whole time it's doing that, it's like the system's going, all right, let's load really quickly while they're entertained with this cutscene. That's why that happens. This one's just like clack, blam. Different world. And that's why this game's a great showcase for the PS5. Also, skipped over, I should have talked about this before I started talking about gameplay, but here we are. The game looks fantastic. Like Miles Morales before it, you have the performance, which is 60 frames a second, smooth as butter. Or you have the high fidelity that has all the ray tracing, and it looks amazing. Like head exploding, amazing. I haven't captured any footage because the capture that I have, it won't show it. Plus I upload in 1080 anyway. What's the point? You won't be able to see what I saw. So I'll use generic trailer footage. That works. Regardless, two things remain a fact. Like Miles Morales before it, there's this middle ground where it's like, oh, it's 60 frames a second, and you get some of the ray tracing, but not all the ray tracing, which I played on for a bit. I was like, ooh, it's 60 frames a second, still looks oh, this is great. Great middle ground. You can't even tell the difference until you go back to the ray tracing one and you see the difference. You're like, nope, this just looks better. And the other fact is all your PC gamer friends are like, oh, it's your first time gaming in this quality. Isn't that precious? Whatever. And as someone who wasn't attached to the characters before I played this game, I love the characters in this game. Ratchet, Rivet, Dr. Nefarious, Emperor Nefarious, all the voice acting, it's great. It's top notch. It's like watching an animation that you and your kids can all enjoy. Like, everyone's gonna enjoy this. Everyone's gonna get a laugh, everyone's gonna get a chuckle, everyone's gonna be entertained. As for the worlds looking and playing amazing and feeling very distinct, the size was it was a satisfying size. Because it's not like the worlds are the biggest things ever. It's like, it's big enough for you to do the mission and come back and clean up a bit. You know, completionist, you wanna get that platinum trophy, but you're not gonna spend a lot of time on the worlds after you're done. Maybe you can come back and be like, oh, this is a good farm spot for these kills that I have to do for a trophy. Point is, there are bigger worlds I've seen in games, but they're a satisfying size, aided by the fact that there are multiple worlds to go to. And the weapons in this game, on the front of quantity and quality, satisfying on both aspects. The weapons are a lot of fun and you get a lot of them. Every time you level up a weapon, you unlock more on the ability chart that you can then spend currency on to unlock. Things like ammo capacity, explosion size, you know, things that you want for your weapon. Then when you level it to level 5, it changes the name of it and it acts a little differently. The sniper rifle is called the Headhunter, a name that makes sense. You level it to level 5, it's now called the Migraine. And anyone out there who suffers migraines, my fellow migraine sufferers, we're all like, yeah, perfect. I appreciate the fact that some of the trophies in here are like, you gotta get this many kills with this weapon or these kinds of kills with this weapon. And the reason I appreciate that is because it forces you to use a gun that you might not otherwise use. And you might find, as I did, that there are a few weapons in this game that speak to you a little more than you might have initially thought they would. Also appreciate the fact that when you get a weapon or upgrade a weapon or get the rocket boots so you can fast travel, which are, I mean, it's not like point and click fast travel. It's not like you teleport, which don't care. I preferred blasting around in my rocket boots. That was just a fun way to get around very quickly. But when you get any of these things with, say, Ratchet, Rivet also has those upgrades. I didn't think they would. I was like, great, I have all this stuff with Rivet and all right, time to start from scratch with Ratchet. No, you don't have to. You upgrade with Rivet, you get it with Ratchet, Ratchet with Rivet. Vice versa. There's no logical reason that when Ratchet gets something, Rivet should have it, other than the game developers being like, yeah, we're just not going to be dicks. I appreciate that. That was very convenient. Good call on their part. Now, if you're a stickler for tough trophies, you know, you got your Blasphemous Platinum, you got your Dark Souls Platinums, you're ready. This is not that. This Platinum's very easy. When you beat the game, there is this thing that tells you like, oh, hey, you can now do New Game Plus, which you get more currency, better versions of your weapons. I was like, oh, sweet, bring it on. Until starting New Game Plus, getting to the first vendor, get you the last 2 guns you needed, and then I got my Platinum. You should play games for the joy of playing them, sure. But my back catalog of both retro games I've gotten and new games, the back catalog's crazy. I mean, dude, I gotta move on. I gotta play other things. So I do wish there were more trophies tied to the New Game Plus element to keep me there for longer. So many games, so little time. You get the struggle. And the action scenes in this game were crazy intense. Like some of the action sequences reminded me of something out of an Uncharted game. Only with the addition of going through dimensional rifts. Also looks really slick when you find a rift and you sling onto it and you pull yourself to it or pull it to you. Folks, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I had a blast with. I loved the characters in the game. I love how they interact together. It was the game I didn't know I needed, and then I got it. And I was like, it's one of those showcase games for PS5. It shows what the PS5 can do. It's early console generation, so it's only gonna look and play better than this as we go forward. But you get a good sense of the potential, whether it's the ray tracing blowing your hair back, the adaptive triggers, you being like, oh yeah, so that's what it's supposed to be like. Because you play Mortal Kombat 11, you play the PS5 upgrade of Mortal Kombat 11, it's like adaptive. They're not, it's just the block button. That's all it is. Some games you don't really get a good sense of it. Actually, Astro's Playroom is the best like adaptive trigger showcase there is. And sometimes you want a game you can kick back, enjoy. It's challenging enough without breaking your balls over it. I mean, you could bump up the difficulty, sure, absolutely. But it never loses the sense of, oh yeah, fun, video games. That's what we're here for. But I was glad I played it. It was quite amazing. In fact, it was awesome-tacular. Alright, so Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, have you played it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.